More than 12 million immigrants entered the U.S. through the Ellis Island Gateway from 1892 to 1954, with its majestic neighbor, the Statue of Liberty, welcoming them home. We take the iconic Statue of Liberty for granted. It's the perfect backdrop for celebrations of American patriotism. But few people know the fascinating story of how she came to be and how one quirky visionary, Frederica Goose Bartholdi, battled naysayers, engineering impossibilities, and a raging storm during transport to put the lady on her feet in New York Harbor. Here are just 14 little-known facts about Lady Liberty. Number 14. The Statue of Liberty's full name is Liberty Enlightening the World. While most people know the monument as the Statue of Liberty, this title is actually nothing more than a mainstream nickname. Officially, the sculpture was christened Liberty Enlightening the World, La Liberté Éclairant le Monde, a poetic name picked out by the French. While these monikers may vary, both designate the figure as a depiction of liberty, a translation of the Latin libertas, a Roman goddess who embodied the idea of freedom. According to the Statue of Liberty Encyclopedia, everybody's gal has a lot of nicknames: America's Freedom, America's Great Lady, Aunt Liberty, Bartholdi's Daughter, Giant Goddess, Grande Dame, Green Goddess, the Lady Higher Up, Lady of the Harbor, Lady on a Pedestal, Lady with a Torch, Mother of Exiles, Mother of Freedom, Saint Liberty, and the Spirit of American Independence. Number 13. France gave it to America in 1886. Wondering why the origin of the sculpture's name can be found in France? The answer is simple. Lady Liberty is a French export. In 1875, French sculptor Frederica Goose Bartholdi and his team, including Gustave Eiffel, the designer of the world-famous Eiffel Tower, began constructing the copper statue as a gift to America. Specifically, it was intended as a gesture of friendship following the American Civil War. While the sculpture was still in progress, pieces were exhibited at the World's Fair in Paris, and, even today, mementos of the monument can be found in the City of Light. Number 12. Small-scale copies are scattered around Paris. Throughout Paris, several replicas pay homage to Lady Liberty's French roots. In the Musée d'Orsay, there is a 9.4-foot-tall copy, cast by Bartholdi himself. This sculpture used to be in the Luxembourg Gardens. Today, a newer copy can be found in its original place. Another bronze replica of the same height stands outside the Musée des Arts et Métiers, a museum fittingly dedicated to industrial design. Inside the museum, visitors will also find the original plaster maquette crafted by Bartholdi. A final copy can be found on the Îles Cygnes, a man-made island in the Seine River. This sculpture was actually a gift from America as a way to say, "Thank you for liberty enlightening the world." Number 11. The statue was brought to New York in pieces. Given the substantial size of the New York-based sculpture, the French decided to ship it as a series of 350 parts. In 1884, once it reached Bedloe Island, known today as Liberty Island, it was pieced together and placed on a pedestal preliminarily built by the Americans. Number 10. Thomas Edison once had plans to make the statue talk. When Edison introduced the phonograph to the public in 1878, he told the newspapers that he was designing a monster disc for the interior of the Statue of Liberty that would allow the statue to deliver speeches that could be heard up to the northern part of Manhattan and across the bay. Thankfully, no one pursued that strange promise, which would have led to the odd experience of walking in New York and suddenly hearing the Statue of Liberty talking. Number 9. It functioned as a lighthouse for 16 years. Two years after it made its grand debut in New York Harbor, Lady Liberty adopted an illuminating role. For 16 years, it doubled as a lighthouse, with the figure's symbolic lamp serving as the beacon. Unfortunately, this light source proved too dim for ships to see, and the statue stopped operating as a lighthouse under the order of President Theodore Roosevelt. Number 8. The statue is filled with symbolism. Still, even without a specific function, the Statue of Liberty continued to play an important role. Specifically, since its onset, it has been celebrated for its complex and comprehensive symbolism. From her head, her crown consists of 7 rays, referencing the 7 continents and seas, to her toes. Her feet are shackled in chains that have triumphantly been broken. Lady Liberty is cloaked in metaphors. In one hand, a torch represents enlightenment. In the other, a tablet of the law is inscribed with July 4, 1776, the date of American independence. Even her positioning is symbolic, as she faces southeast to welcome ships, namely, those carrying immigrants to the United States, into the harbor. Number 7. The statue wears a size 879 shoe. Given the immense size of this pedestal, it is no surprise that Lady Liberty weighs a whopping 225 tons, and has a height to match. From the bottom of the base to the tip of the torch, the Statue of Liberty measures 305 feet and 1 inch tall. To climb to the crown, visitors must ascend 354 stairs, or 20 stories, with Lady Liberty's shoe serving roughly as halfway point. Number 6. Every year, 4.5 million people visit the statue. Over 100 years later, the Statue of Liberty continues to climb in popularity. Every year, 4.5 million people flock by ferry to see the sculpture, and, in May of 2019, to visit the new Statue of Liberty Museum. Planned to be the most monumental addition to Liberty Island since the statue herself, this institution will make a trip to Lady Liberty even more meaningful, promising guests a new way to experience history. Number 5. The statue's pedestal used to house military families. The star-shaped Fort Wood, which now serves as part of the statue's pedestal, was home to military families from 1818 until the mid-1930s. These military families often included young children like Pete Blum, who, in 2012, recalled to the New York Times a 4th of July where GIs bounced bottle rockets off of Lady Liberty's posterior. Another man, James Hill, recalled that he and his younger sister would drop baseballs from Liberty's crown to see how high they would bounce. Other Liberty Island kids said they climbed to the torch tower and made it rock back and forth. Number 4. Visitors used to be able to climb to the top of the torch. Once upon a time, it wasn't just island kids who could climb to the tip of the torch. Tourists were able to climb up to the precarious perch until 1916, when those privileges were revoked in response to the Black Tom incident. Around 2 a.m. on July 30th, Black Tom, then an island in New York Harbor, was rocked by the explosion of about 2 million tons of war materials such as TNT, black powder, shrapnel, and dynamite. The blast was the equivalent of an earthquake measuring 5.5 on the Richter scale. Shrapnel flew across the night sky and embedded itself in the Statue of Liberty. Windows shattered as far as 25 miles away. It was later determined that German agents intent on stopping the munitions from getting to their English enemies had ignited the supply. The Statue of Liberty's torch was closed, partially due to infrastructure damage from the blast and partially just out of concern for terrorism. It's been closed ever since, but you can still appreciate the view from the top with a torch cam, installed in 2011. Number 3. The spikes radiating from her crown aren't part of the crown. The 7 spikes radiating from the Statue of Liberty's crown aren't actually part of the crown. They're meant to be a halo, also known as an aureole, with the spikes representing the world's 7 seas and continents. The rays were temporarily removed from her crown in 1938 so their rusted supports could be replaced. Number 2. The statue is modeled on a real person. Frederick Bartholdi has trumped any Mother's Day gift you could ever come up with. He used his mother, Charlotte, as the model for the most recognized statue in the world. This was first discovered in 1876, when Bartholdi invited French Senator Jules Bozarien to his box at the Opera. When Bozarien pulled back the curtain to step into the box, he was shocked to find a real-life version of the Statue of Liberty sitting there in the box. When he said so to Bartholdi, the sculptor smiled. "But do you know who this lady is? She's my mother," he told the senator. Number 1. That iconic green color. That green color is not Lady Liberty's original color. The iconic green color is a product of copper's oxidation process. The original sculpture was originally a reddish-brown color, the same color you might find on the American penny. That green color would slowly take hold of the statue over the years.